What's up, weirdo? Shadetree Surgeon here, and it's time for another day on the Harley, because apparently you guys love seeing me suffer on a really crappy bike that barely runs. Hey, I actually really enjoy riding the thing, so I'm not complaining at all. And like I said in the last video, it's just kind of interesting to see how far you can push this thing till it really actually falls apart. On the many things that's wrong with the Harley, what keeps happening is the spark plug wire keeps falling off, and I don't have any new spark plug wires. I think this thing is just like slap wore out. I've tried spreading it out a little bit, but it still just falls right out of this thing. So just like any good Harley from the 80s, what it really needs is zip ties.
You riding that Honda, Joe?
Oh yeah.
Why?
Why not? What 1980s Harley worth its salt doesn't have at least a couple zip ties on it? Oh, who knows? Maybe that zip tie will hold. Maybe it'll break down on the side of the road. I'll be sure to bring you guys along and let you know whatever happens. So the next most often complained about thing on the bike is that god-awful seat. Well, I do have this. Now, this is not a seat for an FXR, this is a seat for a Softail. It doesn't have a hinge, and it's got this piece in the front that's supposed to slide under the tank, but I've got a little bracket that'll go on the tank, and the fender on the FXR must be the same rear fender off a Softail because it's got holes for it, but I'm gonna have to take the hinge seat off to try and fit this one on there. Originally, I kind of wanted to do like a whole ghetto refresher on the FXR all in one episode, but I'll tell you, the seat's really bothering me too, and especially since it rains so much in Florida, I'm kind of tired of showing up to a place with a wet ass. Since I eventually do want to go back to a seat that's made for an FXR, I'm not going to remove that hinge. I'm just going to remove those two screws in there and leave the hinge in it. He says, hopefully. Oh, okay. Well, it looks like these hinges... Ah, that's way easier than taking the screws out. Well, if you have an FXR, you probably already knew about that, but I didn't. All right, so I've got this bracket, and theoretically, it should allow me to use the seat that's made for a Softail on the FXR. Let's find out. Slight fitment issues here. I might have to bend the tab on the front of this or something to make it fit in properly. All right, so what I'm gonna have to do is modify this seat bracket. And I know some people are probably gonna be crying that I'm cutting apart a perfectly good LaPera seat. These are great seats, but I'm modifying it to use it. I'm not modifying it to throw away, so I'm trying to put this on the bike. So I don't think it's a bad thing to cut this up and make it do what I need it to do. In before the rest of the internet, yes, I know this is a grinding wheel, not a cutting wheel. I blew up my cutting wheel, so I'm using what I got, guys. All right, before I go bolting that seat on there, I should probably check the oil because the FXR, at least this FXR, operates on a very advanced system. It's a total loss system. It leaks so much oil, you never have to change it because you're just constantly refreshing it. All right, so the problem I'm running into now is, once again, since this seat is not made for this bike, I'm hitting the dash of the FXR at the top of this seat. So, maybe just nothing a hammer won't fix? All right, well, it took multiple hammers, but I think it's gonna work. Just realized, why am I beating on this thing in the sun when I have a garage literally right in front of me? Gonna have to bust out the Dremel tool because this is just like so close to fitting, but not there. Success! Ah, that was way too much sweat to make a seat fit. I don't know if anybody ever told you this, but it's pretty hot in Florida. I just sweat my ass off doing that. Next on the docket is kind of fix the handlebars. I want to put a different set of handlebars on the bike, but right now I don't have the risers that I want to put the handlebars that I have on it. Like, the whole point of this is I'm trying to fix the FXR up for basically $0. So I have a set of risers mocked up on the XS650 that'll fit this front end. I actually have a whole other Dyna front end over there that I'm going to put on this one to replace the 35mm with a 39mm, but until then I'm just going to go ahead and make the internet happy and lower the bars a little bit. There, that's something a little more approaching normal. But isn't the infamous Wizard Lizard official? On a Harley that actually runs right. Alright, yeah, so I realize that this seat is not made for the bike, and yeah, it looks a little goofy, but you know, it's way better than what came off there. You might want to talk shit about this seat until you see that frickin' turd, so I'll take it. And yeah, it took a little bit of cutting, it took a little bit of grinding, and technically I ruined the seat, but I don't know. How can you ruin something when I made it work for what I need it for? I mean, it's not ruined. Before, I couldn't use it at all. So if you say I ruined it, that doesn't really make a lot of sense because now it's holding an ass. Before, it was just collecting dust. Now it holds an ass. So I fixed it. I didn't ruin it. All right, fun fact. I hate stopping at the gas station, so I always keep gas here. And even though it doesn't really matter if I spill gas all over the FXR, what really helps with that is the stroker trigger. I've talked about this before. It's mainly used for dirt bikes, but it really comes in handy when you like to keep gas at your house and fill up your bikes before you leave. Damn it. Well, what's supposed to happen
say again?
is I have my vent closed. Okay, well, once you account for operator error, it's really nice to be able to do this and not spill gas all over your motorcycle. This is why I started with this bike and not Jessica's bike. It doesn't stop you from being an idiot. This isn't any kind of sponsored ad or anything like this. It's just a really cool guy who I met at AIM, and he runs a cool company. It's owned by just a dude. He's a veteran, and I always like pimping their stuff out because, I don't know, because I suck at this. I should get paid for this kind of stuff, but I just do it for free for people that I actually like, because I'm a fucking idiot.
Hey, can we stop at a gas station?
Yeah. No problem.
Thanks.
Dude, I had enough to fill fucking all 3 bikes up, like, exactly.
Woo.
Amazing.
Alright, get my accoutrements sorted on my new seat. I'm so freaking excited, man. It's like a brand new bike. Alright, in order of appearance, we have the one and only Triumph chick on the street triple, Wizard Lizard official on the Harley Sportster, Life of Winter on the Triumph Scrambler, and on the Never Say Die Suzuki Savage 650, Jesse Gray. Oh, you didn't like that?
No, do it again.
Okay, I can do it again. Starting in order of appearance. Oh, shit. Luckily, I'm in charge of editing. So here's the thing about old bikes. Yeah, no neutral cutout switch. Dude, that is a true believer on that Goldwing right there. Oh my God. I cannot tell you how much nicer this seat is. Yeah, like I said earlier, I was trying to save all the modifications or stuff I was gonna do to fix it for like one video. I want to do it all at once, but that seat had to go. It was, not only did it look horrible, and it just always had water in it, so my ass was always wet. But on top of that, it had 0 back support, and combined with these bars, you basically felt like you were hanging on the whole time. It was pretty awful. Everything about this is better. The seating position, I can reach the levers better. I mean, I'm still gonna switch it to mid controls eventually, but wow. This is a lot nicer. Take my word for it. Alright, so headed up to River's Edge with the crew to meet Nick and Kyle up there, hopefully. I just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about a friend of mine here on YouTube called the Henry One. A lot of you guys might know him, a lot of you might not. I actually met him at Phlegm 2018. We ended up shutting down the bar together. And let me tell you, once you shut down a bar with a guy, I feel like you can pretty much vouch for him, man. I'll tell you, the Henry One and his old lady, the Henry Squaw, some of the best people out, period. I'll have his YouTube channel linked in the description down below, but what I really wanted to talk about is that he was recently on the Between Two Wheels podcast, which I am a huge fan of. I've been on that podcast myself, and I had a great time with those guys. Dude, I learned a lot about the Henry One on that podcast that I really identified with. I mean, yeah, he's a good old boy from Arkansas, so I immediately like him, but what I didn't know is that his wife, the Henry Squaw, Steph,
who we hung out with, his wife actually almost died from a brain tumor, and they lost everything because she had to have super emergency surgery. It was a whole deal. I mean, I don't want to tell the whole story, but you know, when the person you love the most almost dies from a brain tumor, you tend to reevaluate some things in your life. And maybe some of you guys who are new to this channel might not know about it, but we lost Jess's mother very suddenly to brain cancer, and dealing with that, you know, her mom was actually living with us at the time while she was trying to deal with chemotherapy, and it advanced so fast that we watched her wither away and die in a matter of weeks. It was heartbreaking. And to know that he went through that, I mean, thankfully the operation they had was a success. Know that he went through that with his wife, and he still maintains this attitude, this positive attitude of going out and helping people is absolutely amazing. And unless you've bounced back from a tragedy like that, sometimes it's hard to get. But when I heard him talk about that, I just had so much more respect for the guy. And I already respected him. I already loved him. But just after hearing that, I was just kind of, wow, man. Really threw me for a loop. Their channel is all about traveling on the back of a motorcycle. They go to all sorts of bike rallies, and they do it on like nothing. Like I said, they lost everything when she went through that brain surgery stuff. So they do it, they say, for 50 bucks a day. And not only do they go out and they make these videos for 50 bucks a day traveling all around the world, but they also are involved in all these charities and this pay it forward. Go watch the podcast, go subscribe to the Omni Run and Steph, and tell them Shade Tree Surgeon sent you. I will tell you, best dude out, absolutely awesome people, and he's trying to grow his YouTube channel. He didn't ask me to give him a shout out. He didn't ask for any of this. I'm just doing it because he's a good dude, and he deserves a success on YouTube because he's a good person, and he's a good old boy from Arkansas. He's not great with computers, so he could probably use a little help. And while I'm spreading the love around, make sure you subscribe to the Between Two Wheels podcast as well. Those guys do a great job, and I really, really love what they're putting out there. It was a pretty dark few years there for us for a while, you know. Like I said, we actually lost Jessica's dad very suddenly to a heart attack, and then like after that, her mom moved in with us, and we lost her very suddenly as well. And I know this sounds, compared to the other stuff, it sounds so stupid, but it was just the most heartbreaking shit you could fucking imagine. I had bought Jessica a Boston Terrier, Azula, when her mom first got sick, like both for her mom to kind of have as a therapy dog and for Jess to have when she was going through all this stuff. And then after her mom died, the fucking dog died of a neurological issue, and it was just like, the hits kept on coming. And then Jessica, somebody rear-ended her. She got into a car accident, and she wasn't able to work anymore. It was pretty dark there for a minute, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, that stuff's still affecting us to this day. Jessica still hasn't really been able to go back to work. She works a little part-time job where she makes a couple bucks because it's low stress on her back injuries, and she also has a YouTube channel, The Dog House, by the way. I know a lot of you guys are already following her, but you know, it's still affecting us today, trust me. Anyway, it's a beautiful day in Florida, so that's enough belly aching about stuff I can't change anyway. Let's enjoy it. And actually at River's Edge on a Harley. I'd fit in if it wasn't for the helmet and the jacket. Good if somewhat sweaty times at River's Edge. Not a whole lot of places to sit indoors there, which makes it a little bit of a dicey proposition in the middle of June. All right, heading over to my buddy Taylor's bar, a place called the Social House. He just opened it up. I haven't been there yet. And, you know, we'd be going there anyway to check it out and do a video on it because it's a friend of mine who opened the place up. But just very unfortunately, right as the bar was opening, Taylor was actually involved in a motorcycle accident. You want to talk about bad timing, like opening a business, especially a business that's as hands-on as the bar business is, and then having a broken hip and 2 broken wrists. That's pretty freaking rough. So instead of doing any kind of GoFundMe or anything like that, he's throwing a little bit of a party as a benefit, as a way to kind of help him out a little bit. Because again, like any of you guys who are small businessmen, you'll know, and if you think you're going to make money out of a small business in the first year, then you are sadly mistaken. But as I said, I'd be excited to go up to the social house to support Taylor anyway, as a friend, a fellow bartender, and a fellow rider. But on top of the fact that he's in a bad spot and they're trying to help him out, just makes it that much better. So of course we're fucking heading up here. Astute viewers will remember this intersection as one of the many places around Tampa the FXR is broken down. All right, 6310 Florida Avenue, the social house. Let's see what this place is all about. Looks like Rudy's already here. All right, you guys might remember Rudy from a few other videos. Hasn't been in one in a while because he got himself a Dyna, living that Harley life. Dude, look at that custom taillight, baby.
What y'all know about that, baby?
Hell yeah, dude. That's gonna be all the rage. That's already old in California, man. That's how they do it. Taylor just started walking again. I was just telling him how I was in a wheelchair for 3 months, if you guys remember that. He was in a wheelchair too, but he couldn't use it because both his fucking hands were broken. You want to talk about how hot it is in Florida? Look at that right there. That's how fucking hot it is. All right. The asphalt's melting. Rudy, ride safe. All right, Josh and Rachel don't live too far from here, so we're gonna go hang at their house for a little while. All right, let's see how big a case of beer I can balance on the tank of the FXR. You look at this place, it doesn't look super nice, but they got nothing but craft beer in the fridge. That's how you know it's in Seminole Heights. I know I work at a bar, but I'm gonna buy crappy beer. That'll do the trick. Hey! Alright, hopefully this stays. I think I got it. If I don't got it, this is going to be a very sad trip. You can't say you're a motorcyclist unless at least a couple times you've made a trip with a case of beer on the tank.